Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name's Lisa. I have a very soon to be 11-month-old daughter. Her name is Joey. So I wanted to film my birth story today. I know I just said my daughter's gonna be a year next month, but I wasn't filming any videos when I was pregnant or when I had given birth, which, just a disclaimer, if you're watching this and you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel and you are currently pregnant, I would just do it. Do it because I wish I had filmed when I was pregnant just so I have all those memories to look back on. I mean, I know I have pictures, but I just wish I had actually videotaped myself so I can remember all the feelings I had and everything that I was going through when I was pregnant. So, with that being said, let's get started. Okay, so I have some notes that I wrote down just to remind myself, but I wanted to film this because I don't want to forget anything. And I feel like as time goes on, or say on our second baby, I just don't want to forget what I went through that day. It's almost a year ago, and I feel like I remember it as if it just happened. It flew by, and it's kind of bittersweet to remember what I was going through that day a year ago. So my due date was March 24th. I think it was a Friday, March 24th. And I remember that day. It was nice out. I was sitting on the porch with Norman. I decided to take him for a little walk, just, you know, kill time, because I had stopped going to work a week and a half prior to that. So I just thought I would take him for a walk. It was nice out. We come back. We're sitting on the steps, and I notice his paw is bleeding. He somehow cut open his paw. We had to go to the emergency vet that day. He had to get stitches in. He had to get his paw wrapped up, and I just remember all this going down like, wow, I'm supposed to actually be giving birth today, and this is what we're doing. So I just remember that. So I had a doctor appointment that Wednesday, the following Wednesday, March 29th. And I want to say the appointment was between 10 and 11 a.m. My doctor had told me that I was only still dilated 1 centimeter. I was like that for a few weeks, so nothing progressed. And we had made a plan to, if nothing had happened by that Friday, that I was to be induced. So we kind of talked about like what could happen, what they were gonna do when, you know, I was gonna be induced. So we kind of went over that. Now, this whole pregnancy, I was like nervous, on edge, like didn't know what to expect, what not to expect, didn't know if I was gonna know what a contraction was, if I was gonna be able to tell how far apart they were. I didn't know like if I was gonna be able to handle it per se. So I was obsessed watching videos, everyone's birth story, everyone who was pregnant, I asked what they went through. So from YouTube videos, some people have said that, you know, they got their epidural super fast. Some say they waited, some say they asked for it too late and it took forever. So I had asked my doctor, like, what's the deal with the epidural? How soon can I get it? And she told me I can get it as soon as I want. So that kind of put me at ease, because I was super, super nervous to give birth. Super nervous. Like, it consumed my pregnancy. That's how nervous I was. So it kind of calmed my fears that she said, you know, I could get it as soon as I want. So that had been my plan, to like get it as soon as I wanted to. So we left, you know, Teddy went back home because he had worked the night before, so he was gonna go home and go to sleep. I went to get my nails done right after that appointment, and I remember sitting there kind of like feeling weird, maybe, kind of quiet. I don't know. Across the street there was like a pizza place. So after I got my nails done, I went across the street to get something to eat. Teddy's mom actually picked me up. We were supposed to go to a store near our house because I had not gotten the baby a White Sox outfit, and opening day was probably at the time that she was going to be home or be delivered. So I wanted something cute for that. And I remember his mom asking me like, do you want to go? And I'm like, no, I don't feel good. Like, I just need to go lay down. So I had gotten home. It was about 2 o'clock and it all happened. I was feeling pain to where I kind of had to like bend over and like catch my breath. So I was texting my friend Tony. She was like my guiding light throughout my pregnancy. I'm like, I think I'm having contractions. I don't know for sure. I don't know how to time them. So she was like, tell me when it starts, when it ends. She would time them. So it got to be like 4 minutes apart, and I'm like, I told her, I'm like, I feel like I have to go to the bathroom. Like I have to poop. So, you know, I go to the bathroom. Of course I poop. And right after that, I feel like this like burst of something. And I was like, oh my God, what was that? So I look and it was kind of bloody. So I'm like, Tone, what just happened? She was like, I'm pretty sure that your water broke. It could have been like your bloody show. Call your doctor, tell her your contractions are like 4 minutes apart. So I did. I called my doctor. I had talked to the nurse that I had just seen earlier that morning. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I think my water broke. It's bloody and it's scaring me. Like, I don't know what it is. She's like, it sounds like your water broke. I will tell the doctor and she'll meet you at the hospital. So I woke up Teddy and I'm like, it's time. So I remember him saying like, do I have time to take a shower? And I'm like thinking, I'm the type of person like I need to get out the door when something happens. But I was like, yeah, take a shower. I was trying to like pick up everything that I needed to put in my bag, like everything that I hadn't packed yet. I did my makeup, which is weird. And I remember calling his mom to tell her to come get Norman because that's where he was going to be staying. So the car ride there, I remember like I would have to hold like my fist on my sides because, and just be like really stiff and still because I was having contractions. So we pull up to the hospital. Teddy's like, I have to park the car. I'm like, I can't go to park the car. I need to like get out and check in or whatever. So, you know, he lets me off and I walk to the elevators. The security guard's like, are you okay? Do you want me to get you a wheelchair? I'm like, no, I'm good. I was just kind of like walking slow, walking through the contractions. I go there. Now, before this, we had pre-registered like a month before, so there was only like a couple of questions that I had to ask or had to answer. So they're like, well, we don't have the exam room open. That was like my first stop that I had to go to, to an exam room to make sure that I was in actual labor. So they said, just go wait in the waiting room. It'll be just a few minutes. So I go in the waiting room. Teddy's there. I just remember the only thing that I didn't like about my hospital was waiting in the waiting room because it was uncomfortable. There were families there, you know, waiting for people who were obviously giving birth. And here I am leaking all over the place. And I remember having to keep going to the bathroom because I'm like, oh my God, I leaked. So I put like a panty liner on because I didn't know what to do. I couldn't like just leak. I remember I had a towel too that I had underneath me. So finally, you know, they put me in a room. You know, they I'm like, I think I'm bleeding. I don't know exactly what it is. So I remember them giving me those mesh panties and a pad. I remember not being able to put the socks on, and the nurse is like, do you not want to wear the socks? I'm like, no, I can't put them on. I'm like, I can't reach my foot. So whatever. It's about 4:30. My doctor comes in. She's like, I happen to be in the hospital. You know, I'll do your exam and we'll see where we're at. So it was 4:30. And she said, yep, that was definitely your water. It's just, there was just like a tad bit of blood, so it kind of made it look like there was a lot. So that put me at ease, and then she told me that I was dilated at 4. So it was a few minutes. They got me into my birthing room. I remember them asking me if I wanted my epidural. I said yes, ASAP. So I was kind of nervous to get that, but I think me getting the IV put into my hand was more painful than the epidural. You know, the anesthesiologist was super nice, and so were the nurses. Like, I'm like, you gotta stop when I think I'm getting a contraction because I can't hold still, because, you know, you're supposed to hold still when you're getting an epidural. And I was just like, I just need a minute to like catch my breath. So they were super nice. I remember getting it, and that was awesome. It was the best thing ever. I didn't feel anything for the rest of my labor. So I remember around 7 o'clock, they checked me. I was at 8 centimeters already. They checked me again every hour. They checked me at 8 o'clock, still at 8 centimeters. And I just remember like everything stopping. Like my labor had stopped at 8 centimeters. It wouldn't go any further. I remember when they checked me, they had said that she had pooped because they seen it from my water breaking. And I remember just a little while later getting a fever. So they kind of had me on stuff for that. I remember around 9 o'clock, some nurses coming in, like getting the room ready with all the instruments, and I was just like, wow, like 2 more centimeters and it's time. And they kind of said that I was moving pretty fast for it being my first labor. So checked me again at 10 and nothing. I still at 8 centimeters. Now they kept checking on me every 2 hours because I had gestational diabetes. So they were checking my sugars every 2 hours, which was kind of annoying because throughout the night I was trying to sleep, but once I fell asleep, I felt like somebody was waking me up to check my blood sugar. They had tried to get me to lay in different positions, like on my side, on my other side, just to see if it was like would progress my labor. I remember them. No, I don't remember anything. No, I'm wrong about it. So never mind. I got off track. So I just remember the room being super cold because Teddy was like, I'm freezing, I can't take it. And I'm like, I'm so hot, I don't even know what you're talking about. It was thunderstorming that night, kind of cool in Chicago. I remember trying to find random things like on TV to watch or like get my mind off everything, but there was nothing. Around 7:30, 8 o'clock the next morning, the resident had come in and said, you know, my doctor was concerned that she had pooped inside me, and that I had the fever, that they didn't really want to wait any longer. They had been giving me Pitocin the whole night and it didn't happen to do anything. I was still at 8 centimeters. So she said she had suggested a C-section. Now, the night before, I was kind of like prepping myself I kind of knew that I was going to need a C-section, and I was just kind of mentally preparing myself for it. I didn't think, you know, it wasn't bad to have one. I was just kind of nervous. I mean, because I kind of know the process of it. So I was just really like trying to like prep myself because I knew that's probably what was going to happen the next morning. So, you know, the resident was telling me everything. She's like, we're going to start prepping you, and that's what's going to happen. I remember crying because it was just like, this is it. Like, this is it. So, I got prepped for surgery. I just remember like getting into the room and it being like cold, white, bright. I remember not like really like being able to like move a lot when they moved me from my bed to the actual surgery table. I remember them calling off all their names and what they did and what they were there for, kind of like a roll call. And I remember being like tugged and like kind of moved around. I remember my hands being straight, flat out on my sides. I remember as soon as the anesthesiologist came to the room to prep me, I remember getting super tired. Like, I couldn't even keep my eyes open. That's how tired I was. So I remember the other anesthesiologist, he kept coming around the curtain telling me like, oh, in a couple minutes she'll be here. And I just remember like kind of being there, but kind of not. So at 10:01, she was born. My doctor had told me she was kind of difficult to get out. Her shoulders kept getting stuck. She had told Teddy that it was a very good thing that my labor had stopped because it could have been bad if I had tried to push. It would have been bad for me. It would have been bad for the baby. But the C-section was the best. Norman. That the C-section was the best route. So, Joey was born March 30th, 2017. 10:01 a.m. She was 8 pounds, 14 ounces, 19 3/4 inches tall. She had come out. They took her to the side. And, you know, they told Teddy, you could go over there. And I remember him being like, I don't want to see anything. So he went over there, and the nurses were like, she was going, like she couldn't catch her breath. The nurses said, don't be scared. You know, it takes babies a few minutes to get the hang of it. Well, it took Joey a little too long that they ended up taking her straight to the NICU. They said they couldn't wait, that she needed help figuring out how to breathe on her own. So they took her to the NICU. They had finished getting me sewn up. I remember getting nauseous to where I told the anesthesiologist that I'm gonna be sick. Luckily, I didn't throw up. It was just me being sick, nauseous. It went away, but I was so tired. So tired that I think I actually slept through the rest of the surgery. I remember them taking me to recovery. I passed out. I told Teddy to go with the baby, that I needed to sleep. I don't even remember how long I slept for, but I needed to sleep because I could not keep my eyes open. Finally, I woke up. I had this weird taste in my mouth, like weird. So they told me I can have like ice chips. They wheeled me in my bed to the NICU. I was kind of laying on the bed, and she was up in one of those kind of like, it wasn't like a incubator, but it was something like that, but it was open. But I remember just being able to like touch her hand, and I was laying down like this. So I wasn't able to like lift myself up to see her. I just felt her hand. So they told me, we're gonna take you to your room. This was the room that I stayed in until we went home. So they kept her in the NICU until the day we went home. We went home that Sunday, April 2nd. So we were there for 3 days. They kept her in the NICU because they said they wanted to monitor how she was breathing. They said she really couldn't figure out how to eat, so they were worried about that. And because of my diabetes, the gestational diabetes I got when I was pregnant, that they had to check her blood sugars 2 hours after she ate. I think I remember that right. So I got to my room, and I remember like getting settled in, and they got me out of the bed that a few hours later. Like I walked, it was a hike to the NICU, and I walked every day back and forth there. I really didn't take a lot of pain meds afterward when I got home, just a few while I was there, but they suggested that if I had walked, it would speed up my recovery. So that's how it had happened. Yeah. It seriously feels like it was, I don't want to get emotional. But yes, seriously feels like it was yesterday. And it's like the best thing that I had ever gone through, which is weird to say, but it is. It is the best thing ever. And I can't believe that it happened almost a year ago. And it's kind of hitting me now that it's gonna be her birthday, that like, wow, I already went through 1 year of her life, and it feels like it flew by, and I'm like ready for my emotional breakdown now because she's gonna turn 1. So that's my birth story. And if you're watching this and you're pregnant, don't be scared. I was super scared and super nervous of everything. Just relax. And I know people say they're gonna tell you like, it's gonna be the best thing ever, it'll be over in a few hours, whatever. You won't know until you go through it, but it seriously flies by. Your labor goes, it feels like you didn't even go through labor after what you get in the end. It's all worth it. And I know people told me that, don't worry. I was still nervous, but yeah. So that's my birth story, and thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.